Something massive moves in the black silence of the deep ocean far beyond sunlight, beyond human reach. It does not hunt like surface predators. It does not need to. It waits, suspended in darkness, where pressure crushes most life forms instantly. For centuries, sailors described something they could not explain. Ships disappearing. Tangles of tentacles rising from the water. Enormous shadows beneath the waves. Stories spread across Europe and Scandinavia of a creature so large it could wrap around a vessel and pull it into the ocean without warning. They called it the Kraken. At the time, there was no scientific framework to explain what they had seen. So the unknown became a monster. But modern science has begun to uncover a different explanation, one rooted not in myth, but in biology, evolution, and a world humans rarely witness. The first real breakthrough came when scientists began studying a creature that had long been considered almost mythical itself, the giant squid. The giant squid, known scientifically as Architeuthis dux, is one of the largest invertebrates ever discovered. It can grow to lengths of over 40 feet, with long, trailing tentacles that can extend even further. For centuries, it existed more in rumor than in reality. Most evidence of its existence came from fragments beaks found in whale stomachs, or dead specimens washed ashore. Live sightings were incredibly rare because these creatures live at depths exceeding 2,000 to 3,000 feet, in a zone where sunlight cannot penetrate. At those depths, the ocean is a completely different world. No sunlight, near freezing temperatures, crushing pressure, and yet, life thrives. The giant squid is perfectly adapted to this environment. Its eyes are among the largest in the animal kingdom, capable of detecting faint flashes of bioluminescence in total darkness. These eyes are not for seeing colors or landscapes, they are designed to detect movement, shadow, and the slightest glimmer of light in an otherwise black void. This is where the reality begins to feel unsettling. Because the ocean is not just deep, it is active. And in that darkness, something is always watching. The giant squid does not hunt in the way humans imagine predators hunting. It does not chase prey across open water. Instead, it uses a method known as ambush predation. It remains motionless in the darkness, conserving energy, waiting for prey to pass close enough to strike. When the moment comes, it launches its two long feeding tentacles with incredible speed, capturing prey using rows of rotating suckers equipped with tiny tooth-like structures. Once captured, the prey is pulled toward its sharp, parrot-like beak, one of the hardest biological materials known. This method of hunting is efficient, precise, and silent. And it is far removed from the violent, ship-destroying creature described in legends. So how did the Kraken myth emerge? The answer lies in the rare but terrifying encounters humans had with something they did not understand. Before modern marine science, sailors relied on unpredictable voyages, primitive maps, and limited knowledge of ocean life. When they encountered something unusual like a giant squid tangled in fishing nets or a massive dead body drifting near the surface, it was often interpreted as something unnatural. The ocean already inspired fear. It was vast, uncontrollable, and unknown. So when sailors saw long tentacles emerging from the water, or giant forms below the surface, the human mind filled in the gaps. The Kraken became not just a creature but a symbol of the ocean's power. But even with all that science has revealed about giant squids, something deeper remains unresolved. Because giant squids are not the largest creatures that exist in the ocean. And they are not the most mysterious. In recent years, scientists studying deep-sea ecosystems have uncovered something that changes everything. The Kraken myth may not have been inspired by one species, but by multiple observations of real biological phenomena that were too strange to explain individually. Giant squid, colossal squid, unknown deep-sea organisms, massive gelatinous structures drifting in the abyss. Each of these could have contributed to the legend. But the most disturbing discovery came from something far more subtle. In multiple deep ocean explorations, scientists have encountered enormous floating masses sometimes mistaken for unidentified organisms. At first glance, these appear almost alien. Some resemble giant blobs, drifting slowly through the water column. In reality, many of these are squid egg masses, structures created by deep-sea cephalopods to protect their offspring. But here is what makes them extraordinary. They can be massive. Some egg masses stretch across several meters, forming dense, gelatinous clouds that move with ocean currents. To early sailors, such structures, especially when glimpsed briefly in rough seas, could easily have been interpreted as living creatures. Something massive. Something alive. Something waiting. Here is the part that science does not hide but that many people do not fully realize. We have explored less than 20% of the ocean. Below the surface lies the largest living space on Earth, yet it remains one of the least understood. In that vast, unexplored region, creatures grow to enormous sizes due to evolutionary pressures. Light does not exist, leading to the evolution of unusual sensory systems. Predators and prey operate in complete darkness. Entire ecosystems function without any human observation. And this is where the idea of the Kraken becomes less like fiction and more like interpretation. Because if a creature exists that we have not yet seen, how would we even know? Why the Kraken still feels real? The Kraken persists in human imagination not because of fear alone but because of possibility. The ocean is capable of producing life forms that push the boundaries of what we believe is biologically possible. For centuries, the idea of a giant squid seemed impossible, something that belonged only to sailors' tales and fearful imagination. Yet science eventually confirmed its existence. The giant squid is real, and its discovery forced scientists to reconsider just how little was known about the deep sea. This realization leads to a deeper question. If a creature of such size and mystery can exist undetected for so long, what else is still hidden beneath the ocean's surface? The Kraken, as described in ancient stories, was never just a sea monster meant to terrify. It was a reflection of human limitation, an attempt to interpret the unknown with the limited knowledge available at the time. Every sighting, every drawing, every myth was shaped by incomplete observations, distorted by fear and imagination. Today, science has begun to validate parts of those ancient accounts. We now know that the deep ocean is home to enormous, intelligent creatures with remarkable adaptations for survival in extreme conditions. These organisms operate in darkness, under immense pressure, and in environments that are still largely unexplored. Yet despite all our advancements, the ocean remains one of the least understood places on Earth. Vast regions are still unexplored, leaving countless mysteries waiting beneath the surface. The truth is simple and unsettling. The ocean has revealed only a fraction of what it holds. The Kraken was never just a tale of destruction. It was a symbol of humanity's encounter with the unknown, something vast, powerful, and impossible to fully understand at the time. For ancient sailors, the ocean was a place of mystery, where strange shapes appeared beneath the waves and vanished just as quickly. Without scientific knowledge, these fleeting encounters were transformed into stories of colossal sea monsters capable of pulling entire ships into the abyss. But today, even with advanced technology, deep-sea exploration remains limited. The ocean is still one of the least explored regions on Earth, with vast areas hidden in darkness, extreme pressure, and silence. In these depths, life continues in forms that often challenge our expectations, organisms adapted to survive where sunlight never reaches. This means the unknown that once inspired the Kraken legend has not disappeared. It still exists. Beneath the surface, beyond human reach, there are environments we have barely begun to study. Every new discovery reveals how little we truly understand about marine life and the ecosystems that exist far below. The unsettling truth is that science does not reveal everything at once. It uncovers fragments, pieces of a much larger puzzle. What we know is shaped by what we have been able to observe, measure, and document. But the vast majority of the ocean remains unexplored, holding secrets that have never been seen by human eyes. So while the Kraken itself may not exist as described in ancient myths, the idea behind it remains very real. The ocean still holds mysteries, and possibly creatures or phenomena that we have yet to discover. Because beneath the surface, there is still so much that hasn't been revealed. Subscribe before the ocean reveals what it's been hiding all along.